This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the Black point of view.
They taught us charity, never clarity. Now help the world while we suffer in the dark. Fighting for flags that don't feed our seeds, but can't build one school where our babies can read. We loud for the globe, but silent for home. No plumber, no coder, but a new iPhone. Our pain got turned to a marketing stream, march and scream, but no policy team, red or blue. Man, they both play roles. One lock us up, one leave us broke with hopes. Democrat, Republican, ain't changed the hood. Just new faces, same games, misunderstood. We vote, they win, then forget we alive. They fund everybody, we just try and survive. Our issues trend only after we die. Ain't no savior coming, it's us or goodbye. So I buy black, build back, sow in the earth. Each brick I lay, I honor the hurt. My grandma prayed for the day we be free, not just legally, but financially. Put the mask on first, then we lift the rest. If the block ain't strong, how we claim success? We ain't saviors, we survivors, building worth, time to love ourselves. Black America first, yeah, Black America first. Fix the house, fix the fam, let the blessings burst. Own the land, own the plan, put the people to work, no more mule moves. Black America first. We out of line, chasing light. Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, be Blacktastic. Black America first. Yeah, Black America first.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Black Westchester Magazine, the People Before Politics show, the Sunday Rundown. And my name is Damon K. Jones, and I'm not sure if my partner AJ will be popping in tonight. He's getting prepared to go overseas. Big shout out to AJ. Big shout out to AJ doing his thing with the JVC Force Group. It's a beautiful thing when you see old school hip hop making a comeback, because this new music that we have around here is horrible. But have no fear, I got my brother Jonathan Newtown in the house. What's up, Jonathan? What's going on, man?
What's going on with you, man? Thanks for having me again. How you doing,
man? Thanks for coming on. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. And I just want to start off, man. We're going to get into the whole Charlie Kirk thing, because I think that's a conversation that needs to be had. But I just want to warn people, especially civil service workers, leave Charlie Kirk off your timeline. I'm going to tell you that right now. People done got fired all over New York for disrespecting posts of the Charlie Kirk. They just went at this black female officer for posting on Charlie Kirk. It's in the New York Post. Sometimes, man, social media
not worth the juice. You have to consider
is
the
not
cost.
worth it. Exactly, it's not worth it, and especially y'all ain't even 99.9% ain't even really activists. Ain't really even activists out here really fighting the power. Y'all just giving an opinion. Do not let social media make you lose your job. Exactly. It's not worth it. And I'm going to say that again. Do not let social media, because you want to run with the crowd, make you lose your job. And like I've been telling people, this is not our fight.
Well, I do.
You losing your job. This is not. Yeah, we could talk about it, but this ain't our fight, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
this
our general fight.
But we, at the beginning.
We right off the bat, as soon as he got killed, we started becoming the scapegoat for this stuff.
No, we haven't been starting to become the scapegoat. It ain't been black folks.
Yeah, they went. I mean, they were marching.
There's other people, but it ain't been us, brother. I'm going to tell you that right now.
They immediately started threatening HBCUs. They immediately started threatening HBCUs throughout the nation.
Yeah, but
the anger crowd came straight for black people after this went down. Straight for us.
No. Listen. You got a group that's going to target black folks anyway because we're emotional. We're emotional people.
That was his underlying audience, Damon. That's his underlying audience.
No, brother. That's what they show you. He went after the Zionists.
Listen, I'm not
after the Zionists first.
I'm not gonna argue that he started evolving.
I'm not defending him. Let me make that clear. I'm just trying to tell black people it's not our fight.
What's not our fight, particularly? What specifically about his death is not our fight?
This struggle that's going on right now is between white power. We ain't got no power.
What he represented. That's what he represented.
No.
What this man was doing was recruiting an entire generation of young people by going around to colleges and campuses, spewing his racialized rhetoric.
Do you think it was for us?
No, listen, he was spewing what he was doing was replacing it into a dying generation of bigots in America. And he was doing that in a very sophisticated way. He was going around to college campuses and he was cultivating the disenchanted. His entire audience was young people who could be persuaded that we are the cause of all of their problems.
No.
Black and brown people.
Let me explain something, bro. Let me explain something.
Black and brown people.
Black people. Let me explain something. The
comments that he made about Ketanji, the comments that he made about Michelle Obama, those things were emblematic of what his underlying message was, and we have glossed over that entirely.
No, I'm not glossing. Well, hold on. Let me say something. I'm not glossing over that. But what I'm saying is this struggle ain't ours. This fight has never been ours. We have been used as pawns, brother. We have continued to be used as pawns for a fight that has nothing to do with us. Who is actually funding? Let me finish. Who's funding Bernie Sanders and Mandami and all them other people?
Other people are, but that's not what I'm not talking about. When you talk about white supremacy, you talk about white power. Whose fight is it then?
Let me finish. Who are funding those people?
I don't know.
It ain't black folks.
No,
so,
but that's
no. Who is funding those people to put those policies forth? It's not us.
What policies are you talking about? What policies are you talking about?
Whatever policies that the Democratic Party has been pushing, and they've been pushing black policies.
I agree with that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I think we're talking about.
No.
I think we're talking about two separate issues. I think we're talking about two different issues.
No. Stop. You said you agree with that.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Let me build on that. My brother. You agree that this Democratic Party is not pushing black issues.
Absolutely. And
All right.
only uses, but when you say this fight is not ours,
No,
I need to make sure that we're on the same.
No, let me get to where I'm going. Let me get to where I'm going. You already agreed that this Democratic Party is not pushing black issues.
That's correct. Never has.
So if they're not pushing black issues, who's the struggle with the conservative and the Democrats? If they're not pushing black issues, who's funding them?
By default, Damon.
That's why I say it's not our fight. We're not even funding this agenda. We're not even a part of this agenda.
Damon,
Let's not get caught in the rhetoric, bro.
I think you're missing the point that arguments that are movements that are based in white supremacy automatically implicate us. Movements that are based in white supremacy and maintaining status quo in America automatically implicate us as black people. So we cannot say that we are just going to forego that fight because the Democratic Party is not doing anything.
Then who are we fighting? If they're pushing back on their agenda and we're not part of their agenda, what are we fighting for?
I'm not going to spend my energy on fighting a party that gives me some crumbs every now and then. I would rather spend some of my energy on the people who are trying to fight for me not to exist. Do you see what I'm saying?
But how are they going to not exist us?
Those people,
it can't happen.
Those people, this man was the cheerleader for you and I not even being here today. He said the Civil Rights Act was a waste of time.
It was a waste of time because we didn't get nothing from it.
David,
what did we get from it?
David,
what did we get from it, brother? What did we get?
That's because we have that's because we have some internal issues as a community that we have never gotten together. Wait a minute. We have never gotten together and become strategic. We have been very immature with our voting power. We have been very immature with our voting power.
So here it is, brother. We're having a conversation about Charlie Kirk, right? Because this conversation is very enlightening because it has us talking about the things that we are not doing as a people.
Damon, I think one of the commenters inside of our chat says, "Listen, I'm still trying to figure out what fight we're talking about," and I think that was the problem that I was expressing at the beginning. It's like, which fight are you talking about? This fight is not ours.
This whole political fight that's happening now ain't our fight because we ain't getting nothing from it, and we have never gotten anything from it.
So what do you say that we? What do you say?
Listen.
Are you saying that we disengage entirely from the process?
No, I'm not saying that. We have to straighten out ourselves eternally.
That's a whole separate issue. Absolutely.
No.
Before you can move on any kind of enemy, you have to internally strategize and put yourself together before you can move as one. But that's an entirely different issue than.
No. It's
let me say this. This fight is either ours today or it will be ours in the future. But
you breaking up again, John?
You, man.
You back?
I hope so.
but that's what I'm saying.
Listen, I think our battle is twofold. Number one, so when you say this battle is not, I think the more accurate statement would be we have two battles that we have to fight. We have to fight as Black people internally to rectify the issues that we have as a community and as a culture, and we have to deal with this that comes externally from the enemy who is outside of our community. So I think the more accurate statement is to prepare the next generation, we need to be telling them that internally we have issues. When we go back and read the book of Nehemiah in the Bible, for I think that's me, Damon.
I'm still here.
Okay. Nehemiah didn't tell Jews that he was coming to fix their community because there were Jews who were completely okay with the status quo, and they were completely okay with the status quo being maintained so that they can enrich themselves. We have that problem in modern day Black America right now. Now, meanwhile, while the Jews were experiencing that internal situation, they were also experiencing external pressure from people who wanted to eradicate them. And what I'm saying is that we cannot negate this fact that this man was amassing an army of young people to replace the dying generation of bigots that is dying off right now. That's what his whole agenda was. He might have started getting, I think he started evolving over the last couple of years to appear to be more mainstream. But all you have to do is pick up some of his tapes, some of his podcasts, and you hear what his rhetoric was.
I heard a lot of the stuff Charlie Kirk said, but at the end of the day, maybe it's me, maybe I'm a little thick-skinned, but maybe we do have to, in order for us, just like the song says, we got to put if we want to be survivors, we got to put the mask on first and save ourselves. We have allowed, and this is the problem, brother, we have allowed white liberals for the last 20 years to hijack our struggle. From the civil rights movement, from affirmative action, from DEI, from Black Lives Matter. They have hijacked every struggle.
I agree.
And they have hijacked. See, this is the real problem why Charlie Kirk and other white people can say that about the Black struggle, because we have allowed white liberals to hijack our struggle. And that's why I say it's not our fight. We have to regain what it means for the Black struggle and Black independence in America. It has been taken totally away. It has been taken. Malcolm warned us about the white liberal. Everybody walking around with their X chips and their X hats and their X t-shirts, but they forget about what Malcolm said about the white liberal.
He evolved as well. He evolved in some of his rhetoric as well. He evolved in some of his rhetoric. There are some of those white people, some of those white liberals.
But the politics did not change. The politics did not change.
I understand that some of those people have become what I call professional exploitators, okay? But the reality is that some of those people have been genuinely concerned with trying to help us achieve our own liberation. And so we can't.
No, listen, they can help us achieve our liberation and in the process take over our fight.
Yeah, I agree. If you let them.
And that's what happened. We can't deny that's what happened. We can just look at it.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we could just look at it. So Joshua Hood said that after he left the Nation of Islam.
Well, I said he evolved.
No, but he said that after he left.
Mm-hmm.
So
he couldn't say what he was in. He couldn't say what he was in because they were too.
Well, I mean, he could have said that too, but at the end of the day, we have to understand that, and that's the problem. That's why we don't have a national Black agenda. Every ethnic group has an agenda, whether they talk about it or whether they don't talk about it. It said Black people. So we are, and that's why I say this is not our fight. We have to get our stuff together.
I think you got to differentiate between what fight you're talking about, man.
No, listen, the fight.
I'm always gonna be fighting.
The fight for our survival as Black people in America. Period. It covers inside forces and outside forces. We don't even control our politics, even in Black cities. But we're too busy online talking about fascism and racism. Focus Focus on our communities.
I have said that in the past too, but what I'm saying is in our silence right now, number one, in our silence right now of the passing, the assassination of this bigot, okay, there will be a void filled. And another thing that's happening is that he will be made a martyr. And again, they are recruiting the next generation of people that we're fighting. In our silence right now, we cannot be silent right now. It will appear to us as though we are ambivalent.
What are we voicing? He's dead. So what are we voicing?
We need to be using our platforms to be able to voice exactly what he truly stood for, as opposed to this.
And what is that? And let me ask you
for racism. He stood for
what
racism.
Is that going to change the Black community tomorrow?
Just if you well, let me say it this way: not saying anything is not going to change the Black community tomorrow as well either. We can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. We can.
I mean, what is it going to change? Many Black people didn't even know many Black people didn't even know he existed until he got killed.
Many did. And in fact, many when he got killed, and we're starting to see this stuff come out in terms of, oh, he was a good guy, this and that and the other. We had already kind of moved on past him. Okay, we had moved on past him, but what he was doing in our silence was he was using this tour, this Prove Me Wrong tour, to create another movement. And let me tell you something. He was damn good at it.
Let me ask you a question.
We don't have anything similar.
That's my point. Where is our tour in HBCU to empower black people to be more economic and build?
We've talked about this in the past. The moment you and I talk about that out openly in our own groups, we will be labeled sellouts and Uncle Toms, because we're trying to raise the level of consciousness of Black people to do the things that we know are necessary to survive and thrive as a culture and as a race. So we're faced with either being quiet, again, internally, while the vacuum is filled with the cultural crap that we have going on with our entertainment and celebrities that is filling the minds of young people. So all they're concerned about is becoming a rapper or an athlete. So we're forced between that choice of being quiet. Meanwhile, the void is filled, and we're always quiet. And so all I was simply saying is that we shouldn't be quiet while the flags are flown at half staff for someone who had these types of views. It will during that quietness, during that period of silence, the void will be getting filled with this martyrdom, and an entire generation will begin to adopt much of what he was saying as truth and gospel. Do you realize that
in that process, what are we doing? What are we doing?
People like you and I are trying to force a conversation.
Yeah, but see, we have to get beyond, and in order for us to force the conversation, and this is what I'm saying, we have to get beyond that, right? We have to because then it becomes a distraction. And let me tell you, not
for me. I'm able to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. I'm able to have a conversation about that.
For now, to the end of this year, you're going to see Charlie Kirk stuff everywhere. And we're going to still be having this racist conversation. And we're not going to be building. The world is going to be moving forward. We're going to be
see what happens is the conversation about racism and bigots and bigotry and white supremacy is just the beginning of a conversation. What has happened is that most of us get stuck on that particular issue, and we never move forward to, yes, they're bad, but what are we doing internally that we have the controllables over? Just like during the police accountability movement, people were talking about, man, these cops are killing us. They're killing us. They're killing us. And I'm like, I said this before. If you are a chain smoker, you have absolutely no business walking out in the parade for let's clean up the air and the environment. You're killing your damn self. And so, I understand what you're saying, but I just think that it is the wrong message to say, this fight is not ours. It's unfortunate, but we have two fights, one internal and one external. And that man was cultivating an entire generation of replacements for bigots. And I'm not really. You know me. I'm not one of these.
But let me ask you a question. When have that changed that bigots were organizing? When have that changed? That is nothing new. As our sojourn as Black Americans, that is nothing new, right? We're always going to have, if people want to call them a racist, or whatever, or a bigot, or whatever they want to call them, we're always going to have that. We've always faced that.
Joshua said the same. Much of what he was saying is true, and that's the danger of him. Many of the things that he was saying, especially in the latter part of his life, he was taking facts that we know to exist to be the issues in our community, and he was saying those things. For that.
But if most of what he's saying was true, right? If the comment says most what he was saying was true, why are we not focusing on that? We're 2%. We're 15%, and then we only have 2% of businesses in America. But we spend $1.7 trillion each year with the oppressor, with the racists, with the bigot companies, with all that.
Damon, you and I are advanced in our understanding of what it takes to be successful in our community and in America. You and I do. And the conversations that start with other people, particularly young people, yes, we can start the conversation on sort of the topics that you and I know to be true, but we have to start the conversation somewhere. I will say this, that most of our conversations have stayed stuck on the big bad boogeyman white man who's out to get you and the school to prison pipeline. You know me. I don't espouse any of that foolishness, right? But the problem, what I'm saying is this was a huge opportunity for us to really begin to talk about not only the bigotry that he was replacing an entire generation, but what we need to be doing to mechanize and mobilize and organize so that we can defeat some of the things that have been impacting our community for many generations. The problem is that, like many things, we will fall off into one of two camps. One, we're going to be shouting from the rooftops about this man and wasting all of our energy on him and speaking about what he did and this and that and the other for, the next 4 to 5 months. And the other camp is we'll do nothing at all. And so the more rational approach is how can we, they've had a turning point. I'll tell you what happened. There's these memes out now that say, I am Charlie. And that's for his group and his organization. We need a response that basically galvanizes us and makes us understand it. And I'm not talking about just on the racist tip. What is something that draws all of our young people together to talk about the things that we need to do? We don't have it. We don't have it. Like, as you said, we don't have a national agenda. We don't, for the most part, have any Black leaders in the Black community that are known nationally. But I also say this: we don't need we're still waiting on sort of like this Messiah to come back again and the next Dr. King. We don't need that. What we need is a bunch of individuals who recognize a set of morals and values that will help move him from where he is to where he would like to be. And we don't have that much anymore. We don't.
No, because we can't. Because the only way we get Black folks together is we have to give them liquor and parties and
Joshua says it seems to me that you're talking about the big bad boogeyman white man instead of us doing ourselves. Joshua, you don't know me, so I think you're not really qualified.
No, we have to get to that point, and we're not at that point.
All Charlie Kirk's death, if it has any utility for us, is a conversation starter. It's not the end of the conversation. It shouldn't be the end of the conversation. In fact, what it should be is a starter, because really you will find people really, for the most part, in that younger generation, many of them did not know who he was. And that's the failure that's on our generation, because we didn't pass that down. Also, because many of us just learned it ourselves.
Well,
And
yeah, but I mean, but that's the thing. I've saw Charlie Kirk because I'm into the whole. I run a newspaper. I supposed to know these things. But he ran with Candace Owens. Then they went their separate ways, and she did her thing. He did her thing. But most black people didn't know who Charlie Kirk was until they started flooding the social media, and then you take us off our mission. And I keep saying, yeah, it's not our fight. It's because first of all, we don't own nothing for it to be our fight. This power move. But
if that's the standard, we don't have a fight at all ever because we don't own anything.
Listen, and that's my point. That's my point. And I tell people, and I say it, I don't know how many times I say it. If the white man disappeared with everything he made and owned, we will be sitting butt naked. Maybe have a dashiki on.
Right. We don't manufacture anything. But the thing is we do manufacture things. We just don't market them internally. Because as you know, I own the newspaper, you own a newspaper.
Right.
We don't use our media to propagate messages to our community. We use mainstream media to hit the mainstream market and then wonder why black folks don't support us. Right? Because we're not on shows that support black intelligence or black knowledge. We're not in publications that support black intelligence and black knowledge. We're not in publications that do that at all.
We don't have those publications.
In your neck of the woods, we do.
What?
And I said in your neck of the woods, you do. You have those publications. Your publications.
Well,
down here we have the Baltimore, we have the Washington Informer. But again, we're trying to compete on a playing field that not only wasn't designed for us, but was actually set up so that we could not compete on it. And my thing is why compete on it at all? Why not build our own playing field? I wish that the NFL players would just simply say, you know what, we appreciate the contracts and everything. We're going to take our talent and form our own league. And it's not going to happen because they're too tied. It has to start. It has to start from the ground up. And unfortunately, we don't think like that. We still think that the white man's ice is colder. And his water is wetter, right? Yeah. We still have that thing. My thing with Charlie Kirk is that I see so many people and these Facebook activists who really haven't even done the work.
Yeah. And I'm like, listen, it's not important. What's important is our schools. What's important is public safety. What's important is our family structure. What's important is keeping black marriages together.
I agree. And those are the part of the messages that man was saying that absolutely made sense. He was saying in the beginning when he started off, he was saying a bunch of rhetoric that really would cause people not to listen to him at all. As he began to evolve, he started saying those things about black marriages, black fathers, I'm like, nobody can argue with that. Nobody can argue with that.
Let me
tell people this. If my house was on fire, I wouldn't care if a Klanman came with a water hose to help me put it out. So, of course, there were some things that he said that made sense. And the phrase I like to say is that even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Right. And let me tell you, he was a New York senator. Well, he did a report in 1965 about the black family, a New York Democrat, white man. And it was I just can't think of it. So anyway, he broke down, and let me tell you something. The report said that at that time, at that time, only 25% of Black children was born out of wedlock.
Mm.
And he called it a crisis then.
I think Thomas Sowell pointed that out too.
Yes,
and
yes.
I was, this man was the most. I told my wife, I said, man, this man was the most rated Black philosopher of our time. And
look how they attacked Thomas Sowell.
Yeah,
look how they attacked. White congressman that put the report out. They called him a bigot and a racist and everything. And everything he said is true. Now we're looking at 2025 and over 70% of Black children are born out of wedlock.
Right. Right.
So like we have a lot of internal work to do, but we can't allow everything that's wrong with the Black community to be faulted on racism in 2025.
I agree with that. That's one. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, in fact, I always say we should concentrate on the internals that we have control over,
yes,
rather than a lot of the externals that we don't have. But again, and this might be somewhat opportunistic, but the reality is what really piqued me with this was how they were making this man into a martyr as though he were a saint.
Oh, they're going to they're going to make him into a martyr because he was a young white man and he spoke white truth. He was a Christian. And according to his belief in Christianity, he spoke truth. And he was one of the main reasons President Trump got elected.
And you know, there's so much that can be said about this guy. He organized and mobilized the next generation of young white folks, and that was what his utility was to the Trump era. And I dare say I don't know, you know, that it is. I think it's this killer. It's been said that this killer actually was motivated because he wasn't conservative enough. And so that's part of what's been coming out.
No, well, there's another word, and this is not facts. I don't want people to run around with facts. There's that story, and then there's that story that his college roommate was transitioning, was transitioning from a male to a female, and the things that Charlie Kirk said about trans and gay people and all that. Allegedly, I don't know. That's what's going on. I'm not saying no motives until Cash Patel says the motives, or Pam Bondi says the motives. Right now, all of that is just word on the street.
He, as this one user says, he wanted the Epstein files revealed and questioned Israel too. Some of that stuff is, he was really his commentary on Israel was remarkable, whether you like that man or not. The things that he said that Israel was doing in America connected to the Epstein files, remarkable. So that's why I tell people this is not a fight. This is something different. But that doesn't mean we don't understand that racism exists. Racism is, if you're Black, racism is always going to exist. It existed since the day they dropped our Black behinds off on here as slaves, and it hasn't went away. But let's not get blindsided that our internal issues, our leadership issues, our family issues, our economic issues cannot be excused on the white man or racism. When we spend $1.7 trillion a year, we spend just as much money as Mexico operates, the whole country. We spend on BS, on clothes and hair and weaves and eyelashes and Mercedes-Benz and sneakers, just as much as it costs the whole country of Mexico to operate. So we can't say we're poor people. We're out of order. We're out of aligned.
And this is the thing that it drives me crazy when you just look at the numbers. So I mean, for people for people to say all that, how do we make less money than white people but own more Mercedes Benzes?
We want to keep up. We want to keep up. We want to have this appearance of wealthiness.
How do we do that?
By overextending ourselves.
Exactly. But we want to. But when we use racism at this point in our sojourn in America, let me tell you something. You know who flourished in racism, even though the racists came and destroyed it, was Tulsa. Black Wall Street. They used the blueprint. Why can't we do that now? What's stopping us from building again? Just to say, oh, the white man came and tore it down? That's going to be our excuse in 2025? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm just going to go back to this point. We can have two conversations at the same time, one about white supremacy and one about the internal issues that we face. And I think when we don't have a balanced conversation, many people will be quick to call us sellouts and not really take the things that we're talking about seriously. And that's what happens. If you and I just talk about the internals, just talk about the things, and we negate, we'll be labeled sellouts, even though we have given much thought about the internals and externals, and recognize that, to be honest with you, I'm not so much concerned about the big bad boogeyman, big boogie, white man anymore. What's interesting about this gentleman was that he was building the next army to replace the dying army of the Steve Bannons and Donald Trumps and so forth and so forth. Meanwhile, we're more concerned about being at Coachella and when the next 90s are going to come out. Right. Let's go on to the next story, man. And I think you enjoy this one.
Mm-hmm. When Representative Jasmine Crockett said law enforcement is to solve crime, not prevent it, she revealed a dangerous mindset.
Law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, okay? That is what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to solve crimes, not...
Solving crimes doesn't bring victims back. Prevention does. So Robert Peel's first principle of policing was clear. The mission of police is to prevent crime and disorder. Anything less abandons citizens to victimhood.
Now, Black people, you have to vet your elected officials fully. Please. And you know what? And I've stayed away from Jasmine Crockett on purpose because I just couldn't deal with her foolery. It wasn't worth talking about. But this, because I did 33 years in law enforcement, I have to speak on this.
The basic tenet is that presence equals prevention. And, prevention is what you want. I'd rather prevent crimes than solve them. Okay. And, you have a law enforcement background. I have a law enforcement background. If this idea that we have not had focused law enforcement on we should not focus law enforcement on solving crimes and so forth. The statement that she made entirely was just, I think what happens a lot of times is these people are given the microphone. There's been no preparation, and they say things that they deeply regret afterwards.
But she's a lawyer.
Yeah, I know. Listen, man.
Even Joshua says
passing the bar, going to law school gives people an indicator of intelligence. You were intelligent enough to pass the bar. You were intelligent enough to go to law school and pass law school. That's an indicator. What happens is a lot of folks get these degrees and they get these law licenses. and it instantaneously makes them a leader. And you stayed away from Jasmine Crockett. I was just miffed when she said that, especially being a lawyer. The reality is that
Black
huh? That's the black elite at its best, right? I bet you she would want some police presence in her neighborhood if they were doing some of the things that they're doing in other parts of the country.
Exactly.
Exactly. We would want some presence that equals prevention. And what's happened is that we're willing. Here's the thing: our black elected leaders are scared of groups of voters, and they're trying to political pander to those groups of voters. One, you hardly hear this crime stuff. The mayor of DC, when she was first told about Trump coming, they rebuffed the idea. As a matter of fact, all of them have rebuffed the idea because it's difficult to let somebody else come in and do what you utterly failed to do. Okay, and come in and do it and do it at such a level that it essentially changed the numbers almost within a week. So what they've done is, instead of trying to deal with some of the things that he did and adopt them and say, hey, we're going to put police presence, they don't really lean in on the police because they're worried about the police union's vote. They're concerned about leaning in and allowing this to take place. Presence equals prevention, to have a heavy police presence, because they're also concerned about the community vote. Because at the end of the day, they're more concerned about getting reelected than being effective. That's it. They're more concerned about pandering to every single group so they can get that group's vote. I need the police union endorsing me. So I'm not going to say y'all not doing your job and that you're down at the donut shop. Okay. And you're not really actively doing patrols. We know you're not doing patrols because your odometer numbers show that you're not really doing an average thing. You're going to parking somewhere and sitting up for 6-7 hours. You're not going to talk about that. Because if we talk about that, I know y'all going to be like, let's get rid of her. Okay. So your police are ineffective. You don't talk about the educational things that are going on because you're worried about the teachers union. And you damn sure don't talk about the lack of discipline in the children that come to the schools, because you don't want the parent-teacher association saying we need to get rid of her because she's talking about disciplining my little kid. And so what happens is they've been pigeonholed into keeping their entire mouth shut to all the issues and going along, getting along, and being reactive as opposed to proactive. They don't offer any real solutions at all.
But you know what's scary?
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a congresswoman that's saying that, but then when you look at the major cities, which came out with this whole argument with Trump sending the National Guard to Chicago, and I'm going to play what these little gangbangers were saying in a minute.
What they say?
No, we're going to get a good laugh from that.
Okay.
And all the police departments are understaffed. Why black communities, and even here in Westchester County, Mount Vernon, they ran understaffed too. Why does black mayors run their police department understaffed? DC, the mayor said 500 officers. Chicago, almost 2,000. New York City, low. Baltimore, Maryland, understaffed. And then what you do is you pay all this overtime to officers and you wear them out.
Mm-hmm.
Black people, you have to start. I know life is crazy. I get it. You got kids, you got personal issues, you got baby mama, baby daddy issues. You got all type of issues that's going on. You're working. Some of y'all are working 2 jobs. But what you have to do is you have to start showing up to City Hall, because this is your city. Whatever city you live in, you have to start showing up and going to meetings. You have to start showing up and going to your school board meetings. See, because this is crazy. And when you don't, some people just don't know. But if you're paying taxes, and usually in Black communities, your taxes are higher.
Mm-hmm.
And you get less services, you need to show up so you can get your services. Like I never seen.
We're immature. We're immature about that. Yeah, we're immature about that. We don't recognize that our tax dollars are our tax dollars. You know, we here in this county, we pay. We have one of the highest tax rates in the entire state. When you go to court, you actually have to pay for parking in a parking deck that was already paid for by public dollars.
Exactly.
And half the parking spots are tied up by public officials, you know, and so it's just we don't really expect much. I remember when I worked for one of these politicians, he told me, he said, Jonathan, you think too much. You think too much, because he was talking about running me for an office. He says, you want to be talking about these issues and accountability and all this stuff. All you got to do to win in our community is skin, grin, and win. Lay some skin on them, dap them up real good, and you know, skin, grin, and you shall win. And he's running for Congress down there in Georgia now. You know,
but see,
you know,
that's politics. That's Black politics at its finest, right?
Yeah.
And the Black community, we don't get what we're supposed to get, man. You know, I'm currently writing a book. Democrats and Republicans, the biggest gangbangers in the country.
Both of them.
Yeah. No, that's the title. That's the title of the book. Mm-hmm. You know, because we're going to talk about the gangbanging on that level. The street gangbanging is nothing when you talk about the gangbanging on that level. And I want to move into this story, and then probably we got guests coming on talking about a business expo, which is needed in Westchester County. That's right.
Chicago gangs threatened Trump over sending in the National Guard.
That's called the Department of War. Nigga, you about to find out why it's called direct. The fuck? Goofy ass nigga? We ain't scared of this shit.
Trump, do not send the National Guard to Chicago, gang. Do not, I repeat, do not do it. We are a different fucking breed out here, nigga. We are not Los Angeles. Nigga, we are not Washington, D.C. Nigga, this is Chicago, nigga. Them niggas go fight back. I'm telling you, them niggas go fight back, gang. Whatever, I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Them young niggas got switches, gang. They not going for that shit, bro. I know a bunch of y'all finna say, oh, it's the National Guard. They can't do anything about it. They must go in Chicago. Nigga, do y'all know that it's more bad people than good people, bro? There are over 100,000 gangs in Chicago.
But veterans and soldiers fired back. Street war is not real war, and one sniper said. Black servicemen warned, we have drones, missiles, and precision you've never seen. Don't confuse bravado with power. This fight only ends in death or prison.
Are y'all serious? Do y'all really think that y'all can take on the U.S. military? Bro, the military overtakes countries, bro. Y'all are a small portion of Chicago, bro. And y'all talk about y'all got switches. A switch is so dumb. A switch is like a waste of bullets, bro.
This video reached the vast majority of the thugs and hooligans in Chicago that truly believe that you're going to do anything to the United States military. Mind you, we're not even bringing Green Berets or Navy SEALs or Special Forces, right? It's National Guard. It usually happens when an administration feels like a city or a place within the United States, it just adds civil unrest, right? Because we do defend the country from enemies, foreign and domestic, right? But let me speak to the people that think they're gonna do something to the military. Please, I advise you do not do it, right? I'm all for peace. I'm all for the right thing. Please do not put yourself in a position where you fall for the trap. Please don't think that you're gonna intimidate people that can pinpoint where you keep your weapons at, locate who your family is in a matter of half of a nanosecond. We have homing missiles that can track you down and put a quarter of a hole in your chest before you realize it. I'm asking all the thugs and hooligans, the be civil.
Man, listen.
This thug life has gotten. I mean, really, man. Can you imagine how far gone you have to be to think that you could, you know? I mean, it's incredible that the music has got them that messed up. That they think that they can stand up against that. We need to send them to a real war someplace, man. You know, if they think
they're unfortunately. I mean, and this is real. This is unfortunate, right? That we got to even talk about it, and that these young men in these gangs are even saying that they're ready to take on the U.S. Army. Like, that's insane. That's really insane. But the biggest, the saddest part about it is that the leaders in the communities are denial about the crime and violence that's in the communities. That we shouldn't even be having these type of conversations of even sending the military.
Right.
So you have the mayor talking about we're okay, but then over the holiday weekend, 61 people get shot and 7 killed. Are you kidding me? Like, what is up with Black leadership, bro? We are in denial that crime and violence is in the Black community right now. Mm-hmm. We're saying everything's cool, everything's okay, just because
they're more concerned about being reelected than being effective. They want to be reelected, so they're scared to essentially alienate their voter base.
What voter base? You trying to tell me gangbangers vote?
No. Their mamas and their aunts. Their mamas and their aunts.
What voter base are you talking about?
They come to the office and so is a good boy. I just caught up in the wrong crowd. Okay, I understand. Well, he's in this Instagram video in the exact same uniform and outfit that he was on this scene here where these shots are in front of the 7-Eleven, man.
Chicago has been out. Listen, Chicago has been out of control for decades, right? They didn't get the name Chirac for anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They didn't get Chirac for nothing. And this is the crazy part about it, is that we're not really having these conversations, or we're unwilling to have these conversations about crime and violence in our communities, and why you got Black mayors, and I'm not beating up nobody, but you got Black mayors over these cities, and there's a lot of chaos going on. It's going to jump off every summer. Why do I have to live like that I know from June, right? Why do I have to, by the time
until Labor Day weekend, it's going to be the jump off.
But by the time it gets 75 degrees.
I didn't even get a vacation this summer, man. The phone was ringing so much. I was like, good grief, what's going on?
Exactly. And when I lived in Mount Vernon, I heard gunshots out of my window. I'm like, I got to get up out of here, man. This is crazy. This is insane. Nobody
wants to really have the conversation, because the conversation is a tough conversation, and it involves accountability on all sides. The leadership hasn't put forth policies. They've been extraordinarily flexible with people. I have been reading a book. I think this is on my desk right now. It's controversial issues in criminology, and one of the chapters in here is about have we been too lenient with juvenile justice? And it's because there's been this big movement, to really be lenient about it. And I know this with my kids, when we were too lenient, they tended to do the behavior again until I came out the pocket and went bananas, and we had started adopting all this my wife was an educator, and she came home with some of the stuff that they were talking about doing in the classroom and how they were taught to folks and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm not very educated when it comes to that. I'm used to the old-fashioned method, and the old-fashioned method prevailed, But all this untried and untested shit that we've been doing in our homes, it's why our kids are out of control. They don't respect us. They don't, the Bible says this. The beginning of wisdom is fear. Fear is the beginning of all wisdom. If you're not scared of somebody, then you're not going to be wise.
No, you're not going. You're not going to listen.
Yeah, you're not. These kids ain't scared of nobody.
And unfortunately, jail has become having better living conditions than they did in their household.
Yeah, they get
these young kids. Yeah. No, it's not even that, bro. They get PlayStations.
Yeah,
they get iPads,
Xboxes in the prison.
Big screen TVs. Like, how are you out here robbing and killing?
Yeah.
And you go in and they give you all of this, and then some white lady comes in and says, "You know what? You're depressed. You're gonna get a dog." No, a dog. And then the kid kills the dog. Like, why would you give a killer a dog? See, we have to, as Black people, even our elected officials, and even with our children that are being incarcerated, we have to make sure that they are culturally minded people trying to get these kids' minds in a better way. Because if we don't do that, they turn into test dummies.
Crash dummies. I say it all the time. I mean, I spend, and that's the saddest part of my job is like I watch people. I've got a 19-year-old just a couple of weeks ago got convicted of all 23 counts. I sat there. I know we got sentencing coming up in a couple of months, but the reality is that it's these choices that impact the rest of their life, and nobody's really having any conversations with them. Nobody's saying we can't be. Supposedly, we cannot be tough. We can't even coach. So I went to go coach at the beginning of the summer. Right, I was going to coach baseball over the summer, and Damon, I kid you not, I shit you not, I did not make it past the coaches meeting. Okay, where they bring all the, you go out and you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a team, and they started laying out the rules. And first off, all the parents are there with all their kids and everything. We're sitting there, and the man who's over the league, the commissioner, he says, I know some of you all are competitive, but we're gonna, lay out the rules here. And first off, every kid gets to play at least one inning. I'm like, I can't bench a kid at all. Everybody gets to play. Then you got these kids who are hooping and hollering. The man could barely get out a message. And he just let it go on and on. I said, man, I'm not gonna ruin my reputation as a lawyer out here over coaching baseball when I snatch one of these, talk to one of these kids the way that we were taught to when we were coached. Let me get the hell out of here. Hey, Mr. Newton, where are you going? No, I don't think this is for me, man. This is the whole dynamic of how we relate with children has changed because we've adopted all this stuff that is untried and untested and untrue. I remember my coach telling one kid, man, you can't play dead. And everybody laughed. And then that boy took it really to heart and he proved the coach wrong. And that motivation led him to do better and better and better and better. But you can't challenge kids now. You can't coach them the way we used to be coached.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. We got our guest coming in. Hold on. What's going on? One texting me said.
Okay. Cannabis. We need that according to them. Cannabis is causing so much issues with mental illness. It's incredible because our kids are starting to smoke it. Obviously, they've been smoking it at an early age, but it's having a bunch of effects on their brain chemistry throughout the developmental years. And we're having higher incidence of schizophrenia than we've ever had before. And nobody's wanting to mention that yet because it's only affecting Black folks. It's largely affecting Black folks.
All right, I'm going to bring everybody in. I'm going to see what's going on here. Nope, that's not it. What happened to the screen? No. Well, I thought maybe I didn't save the screen. Okay, we're gonna be all right here. Before I bring everybody in, let me
hit mute real quick.
Let me change the screen up real quick so I could fit everybody. Add camera slot here. But I had this set, but I guess I didn't. All right. Oh, we got. Oh, now I got to add another camera. My bad. Ooh, 3 people. Lord have mercy. Hold on 1 second. I got to add another camera person. I got to add somebody else in here. Hold on. All right. Move that. Right. Oh, they, all right. Everybody going. Robyn, can you?
Hi,
All right, you there? Everybody there? Everybody there?
is Amy? There's Amy.
Amy, Robyn.
That's me.
All right.
And then you
Can I hear
have
everybody? Charlene, Amy. Oh, okay. All right. Is your mic working? I want to make sure you mic. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Welcome, sisters. Got y'all here. Welcome to the Black Westchester People Before Politics show. And they are doing an event. And I think everybody should come out. We're talking about Black businesses in Westchester, which is a conversation and a forum that is long overdue. What just happened? There we go. It's a conversation that's long overdue. So, how did y'all come about thinking about having a Black business conference?
okay. Go ahead, Shar.
Well, it's actually Robyn's idea. I've known Robyn a long time.
All right.
Our babies were born 12 hours apart.
Really?
And
okay.
Robyn has been trying to start this since our babies were 2 hours old. Seriously. She's always had a mind to do a business. And I think right now what it is that we hope to create like a space where entrepreneurs can connect, share resources, support each other in growth. I think our goal is to really strengthen our business network, providing education, just starting to scale businesses, to inspire, to collaborate with others, just to build insight, meaningful partnerships that we can, see our community grow and last, and have a big, number one, big economic impact on our community. We spend a lot of our monies in the Latin community.
That's right.
In the Asian community. But where are we in our community? We spend millions of dollars other places and never put a return back in ours. I think that was Robyn's main idea. And we need to support this project that we're doing.
Absolutely. When I heard about it, I was like, yeah, about time. About time we get it done in Westchester. We have to talk about it because we only like 2%. Black businesses are only 2% in Westchester. And you got all this. We live in one of the richest counties in the nation. So we have to, get Black businesses going on, and I hope I wish that is a success. And I ain't trying to toot my horn. I know I'm speaking on Saturday, but what else is going on? What else is happening, y'all? Let us know what else is going on.
So you mean on Saturday?
Yeah, on Saturday, Friday. But let the people know, because we trying to get people there. We trying to get people to come.
So Friday is geared towards Black-owned businesses, entrepreneurs, professionals, to network with each other, because as you may have a business, the next one may have a business, and we are promoting our own business. Come support me. But who are we supporting in the community?
Right.
And that's what this is about, is to know who's in the room that we can support. And not that and this is not about just only supporting us, but we need to know our options. We need to know that we are out there and that we can support us first.
Right.
But we don't know who we are.
Exactly.
So that's what the Friday night is for, to network with each other. So we know who that, if there was a mechanic, we always asking each other, oh, do you know someone that can do this? Do you know someone that can do that? Because we don't know who we are. And the Saturday is more of an educational piece. Seminars. DK, you're opening up as to why our Black dollars matter. And then we have I don't even have it in front of me, but we have a young lady that will be speaking about real estate. And I think one good thing about that is, and this is what this should be, starting a community of us to really stick together. And if you're having difficulties in an area, there should be somebody in the community that can help you. People are struggling.
Right.
We are losing our Black businesses. And why is that? Is it because we don't have the education piece as far as what the next step we should be doing to try to keep this business open? We don't reach out to each other. There was a business a couple of years ago, a restaurant in White Plains. And I was trying to get people to support it. It was 19 Court. And trying to get people to support it, but my take on it was that the time of year that they opened, it was like in September. And that's a difficult time of the year because for a brand new business.
Right.
Now you have the holidays coming up.
Right.
And usually by then, major companies, they've already booked where they're going to have their holiday party at. And now you have the winter where everything just kind of shuts down.
Right.
So I had spoken to the owners. I said, if you could stay open to spring, if there's a possibility, but they weren't able to do it. They were in big financial debt, just trying to stay open from month to month. And again, what could we have done as a community? I even mentioned that, how about let's do, and it's far-fetched, but I mean, it's at least an idea I threw out there. I said, how about do like an all-nighter comedy, something, just open the doors, get, have the place exposed to people that just don't know about it. And just do like a all-night weekend, just charge people $20 just to come in, that type of thing. But again, we need to really network with each other more to try to help each other stay in business. But so I kind of went on a tangent there, but so the real estate, my thought about that is that even with the real estate, if you have a home and you're struggling, we have a tendency to kind of keep things to ourselves and don't want to share, reach out for help. But if you reach out, you never know who may be able to help you out, what kind of connection they may have, what kind of advice they may have. And if you have to sell your home, can you sell it to somebody in the community?
Right.
There was a lady that lived across the street from me. She had issues with her home, and I had told her, I said, listen, if you ever want to sell it, let me know. And next thing I knew, the house was sold to other people. And I went to her and said, what happened? How come you didn't let me know? Well, I figured you just didn't want to. I was like, okay, see. So we have to change our mindset.
Right.
We're losing, and we're dwindling. So, with the real estate aspect of it, that, yes, we need to know how to obtain homes, what you need to do, what your your credit score, the banks, whatever this, that you can go to. But still, if you're in the community, we need to network with you in case you're having issues.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. Well,
Um,
that's what's missing in New York. I went down to Atlanta last year, and I was amazed of the business network that they have created. And I remember there was a young lady who had like a thrift shop, and she was having problems paying the rent, and hundreds of people showed up to shop to make sure that she was able to pay, her bills. It was like everything was sold out of her shop. But it was a beautiful thing to see Black people, turn out to help this sister out to make sure that she was able to at least pay the next 3 months, of her bills and her payroll. We have to, something, I don't know, it's just something that's missing, the connection, the North and the South. We just don't do the same here in Westchester County when it comes to Black businesses. My mother used to tell me, like, all of 119 was Black businesses, right? It was all full of Black businesses, and my aunt Frances, they used to own the World of Beauty. So that was the last Black business establishment on 119. We lost the lodge. We lost like everything. Everything just disappeared, and nobody sees that it's an emergency. That we have to get Black businesses back in Westchester County. So this is what y'all doing is very important. Is very important to Westchester and where we are at in dealing with businesses in Westchester. And I thank y'all for doing that. When I heard about it, I was like, yo, I'm down. I'm down to talk about it. But so what other classes you got? I didn't want to go on a tangent with that neither.
Amy, you wanna?
I don't have it in front of me. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Okay.
Let me see. But while I'm pulling up, what I wanted to say was, I think that as the African American community, we need to be intentional about understanding how important it is to support our Black businesses. And we say it, but I know it's been about 3 years for me where all of my doctors, I just have one more that I need to change over. All of my doctors are African American. And I think kind of, talking to what Robyn and Charlene have already talked about, I think in Westchester County, we don't know. And so, when you don't know, you can't do what you don't know. So I think that this is so important. I'm so excited to be a part of it. And I'm glad that Robyn asked me to be a part of it because it brings knowledge. The Bible says people perish because of a lack of knowledge. Our community perishes because of a lack of knowledge. But to that end, it also is a mindset. And if I could just say it very candidly, a lot of times in the African American community, when we know that someone has a business, we want to get a hookup. No, like that's their livelihood.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're gonna go here and there, that's not Black owned, you're not asking for a discount.
Exactly.
Let them give you the discount because they want to give you the discount. So we do need to change our mindset. So I think that it's so important that the Saturday sessions is the education piece. And so yes, we have the opening, why are Black dollars? And then we also have a young lady that's going to be talking about how to be more efficient in your business using AI. A lot of people are afraid of AI or, but it's an awesome tool. And this is the age where, some of us, we're a little bit older, but these younger people are really learning about it. And I think that using AI and the marketing tool as a marketing tool, using AI as, your administrative assistant. There's so many areas in AI that a business owner can use. So that's going to be important. That's so huge. And then there's a session on community farming. And that may seem a little far-fetched, but we need to own our land. We need, as Black folk, a lot of times, properties, land is it's passed down to us and we sell it. We don't understand the value of owning land. And we may not be farmers, we may not, understand that concept. But I think this is going to be a huge session to kind of open up the mindset of our people. And we don't know where the world is going to, where we may have to, grow our own foods. It sounds kind of far-fetched, but it's a reality. And so that's going to be a session, and I think that's going to be amazing. And then we have another session that's going to be talking about footsteps on to starting or improving your business. So I think that's going to be awesome because, there are people who are entrepreneurs right now, but, they want to go to the next level. So I think this particular session will really lend to that area where it may give some nuggets in helping to, knock you up to another level in your business. And then we have another session that's going to be talking about how to go from bad to excellence,
Credit.
which is with your credit. So that,
Good.
a lot of these sessions are just information that is so needed for current business owners and those that just started so that we can be able to compete, in the marketplace and be successful and have longevity. Because, I remember 19 Court. I loved it. My husband and I
Yeah.
went several
Yep.
times. And so, but the longevity wasn't there. And
Right.
so, for so many various reasons. So that's what Saturday is looking at. And then there'll be some fun. I think there's going to be a fashion show, I believe. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
No, that's great. That's great. That's great. Y'all guys got a website yet? I know y'all got to. You got to get a website now. I'm going to stay on y'all. I'm going to stay on y'all. Y'all got to get your social media popping. You got to get your site up. You got to get your site up. You got to let people know you out here. And I don't have a problem working with y'all with that because I think it's very important to even after the conference that y'all stay visible so people know that next year is coming. And you create that network through social media. That's important too. And I'm going to talk about social media is a powerful tool. I'm not talking about twerking and shaking and doing all. I'm talking about business, like running business and getting people together for causes. Is very important. But I think that's great. John, I see you typing. I see you. You gotta come off mute. Oh, wait a minute. You're on mute, John.
No, I said, yeah, I'm responding to an email.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So John is our resident lawyer. So he keep, we bring him on. He's not from Westchester. So he say whatever he want to say, and there's no repercussions. There's no repercussions. But yeah, how can they contact y'all guys? If anybody wants to know how to get in contact.
Well, Robyn, go ahead.
No, I didn't know what he was saying, whether he was talking about
no. If they want to contact y'all about the conference.
Oh.
Yeah, because I send it out on our email blast. But if anybody that's watching or will watch it between now and the date, how could they contact y'all?
So our phone numbers are on the flyers. That's pretty primarily the way right now, or possibly email. For me, I'm a phone person. I can respond quicker to a text as opposed to email. So the number for me is 914-888-5800. 914-882-3780. That's 914-882-3780.
Okay, great. Great.
And Shar and Amy?
914-837-2265. But you can also reach me, Raynor, Raynor 1961 at yahoo.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Charlene Raynor.
Yes, 914-564-1001, which is on the flyer. But the flyer is also on my Instagram page, which is Lady More Love as well. I can be reached also on my Facebook page, which is Amy Ashley Moore. But word of mouth is the way we're
Okay. Okay, great.
As well.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Is he still? Well, he's still typing. So he's still typing.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm getting there.
So, no, you got it, man. You can't be having on them keys hitting, man, while we having this interview.
You can't hear that, can you?
Yeah, man. That's why I put you on mute.
That's why I muted myself. I thought I muted myself. Oh, while you're muting me, I'm unmuting me.
Yeah, we can tell, brother. All right. Yeah, but thank you. No, I want to thank you. Is anything else y'all want to tell the people?
Come
out. Yes.
Be empowered,
yes.
Learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's we're calling this a summit, Black Owned Business Weekend Summit. So it's 2 days. So, you know, if you can attend both days, that would be wonderful. You know, the Friday night again is for, you know, the business owners and the entrepreneurs, professionals, and to collaborate with one another. And the Saturday is powerful education piece that everyone can benefit from.
Mm-hmm.
Like the word says, people perish for lack of knowledge.
That's
now,
right.
We are out here trying to get everybody to come out. And we're hoping that on Saturday, as we educate the people, they will come and realize we're in that pot as well.
Yes.
Right.
We're in that pot with everybody. And there's enough to go around. But we just have to remember, we're not in a barrel. We're not going to pull each other down.
Right.
We got to pull it up. I always like to look at the barrel. You know, you say crabs in a barrel, one pulling it down. But we got to also look at that barrel as there's a claw. We can pull someone up. Not always do we have to pull someone down in that barrel. You know, you stand on the edge and pull someone up. And that's what we need to realize.
Absolutely.
We're not the enemy of each other. We're not the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited because, you know, you have a lot of young people just people that want to start businesses. And I think that this weekend is going to be an arena for them to be like, wow, I can do this with the information that they're going to get on Saturday. You know, sometimes it may seem difficult, or I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. And I think that it's going to be an environment where they will be empowered. And for those that may not have a business, but, you know, are looking to start a business, not really sure, I think that the information on Saturday will propel them to say, you know what, I can do this, you know, so it's going to be good. And I said to Robyn and to Charlene, I can see this, you know, next year at the county center, you know.
No, absolutely.
There's so much here. And I think that as you know, African Americans here in Westchester, there's so many educated people. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of us, I'm from Greenburgh, only left to go away to college and, you know, got 3 degrees, you know, living here. And there's so many of us that have, you may not have your own business, but you have connections and you have people that, you know, you can talk to and you know, we can come together and form this community of supporting our own. Doesn't mean we wouldn't support the others, but it's so important that we support our own and have the longevity. That's so huge because we often don't have the longevity for so many reasons.
Absolutely.
And Amy, just tell real quick how you and your husband were riding down Main Street and there were all these vacant stores, and now Yeah.
Right. So I was sharing with Robyn and Charlene, right on Main Street. It's Greenberg, but it goes into Elmsford.
Mm-hmm.
There were, let me see, one, two, three, about five vacant spots where at one point in time there was a pharmacy, there was delis, so many different things that weren't owned by Black people, but owned by families. I believe there was two businesses that was owned by families right there in Elmsford. But the point was, all of a sudden, these businesses started opening. One is a ice cream parlor, which is amazing in there. Of course, you have another deli. I think there's an insurance company. But the point was, Black and brown people, but not us. And that's cool because Black and brown. But all of those vacant spaces are no longer vacant, but none of them are owned by us.
Right.
There's none
Yeah.
of us. There's no businesses for us. And I said to Robyn,
Mm.
I was excited to go to this, ice cream parlor, and they're doing it up in there. They started it in October of last year,
Wow.
and I mean it's running well, and
Let
all the
you know.
other businesses. But the point was, I said to Robyn and Charlene, I was like, it's none of us. What happened? Why aren't we in at least two of them?
Right.
There's a barbershop, they have legal services in the back, hair salon. I mean, they're doing it. Insurance companies. Then you want to get something to eat, you go to the deli. You want to get some ice cream with your kids, and it's beautiful in there. They're making homemade ice cream. They juicing. They doing all kinds of stuff. Not hating. It's awesome. It's amazing, and I support them. But what I said to Robyn and Charlene was, my heart was grieved because I was like, why don't we? What is it that we're missing? And so I believe that this summit is the beginning. It's the precipice of something big that I believe is going to happen. It's going to ignite the African American community. And when you see a spot that's open and you got a business in mind, that real estate session may be that session that's going to help that person say, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I think I was having a conversation with my pastor, and I told him, I said, look, I think Black people, we haven't connected business to faith.
Mm,
Even though it's all through the Bible,
it
right?
is.
We haven't put it in as part of our culture, and I think that has been a mistake.
Yeah.
That we haven't connected. Part of owning businesses and having economic development is part of faith. The Jews do it.
Yeah.
And if they read out the Torah, the Old Testament, the same one we read out of, I don't understand why we're not doing it. So it should also come from the pulpit too. That part of faith
You're right.
is part of business development, taking our $1.7 trillion that we spend with everybody else but us and start spending it with ourselves. I mean, that's a conversation for another day, and that's a conversation that pastors, I think a lot of pastors are going to need to start having. Like what was the point? I'm going on a tangent now. What was the point for us marching on Wall Street when we're spending our money with the companies on Wall Street?
Right.
Like I didn't understand. I really didn't understand that. What was the point not teaching Black children or Black families to invest in stocks and bonds while they're in their 20s? So when they get our age, they ain't got to work. But we marching on Wall Street calling it racist. No, we just not taking part of what the process is that Wall Street. We all got stuff in our house. Why we should own stock in it.
Yeah.
But we have to teach that. That has to be taught. So I think we got to really connect business to faith and business to our culture, and pastors have to play a role in that too, other than us trying to do what we need to do to try to inform people. But I think, pastors have to do that too.
I want to add my Bishop Thorpe. He always says to us, whatever we need is in the house. Let's do it in the house.
That's right.
We have to. We have many people that are in the house that are entrepreneurs. Why go outside? We need to make sure that everything that we need is in the house and spread it out. So you're absolutely right. When the churches need to get involved and support stuff like this, or just encourage, bring an investor into the church, have a workshop to tell us how to spend our money, how to invest our money. These young kids, you're making your money, but you're going to buy the sneakers, you're going to do the games. Show them, that $100 that you're spending, invest it.
Exactly.
Start small, but you're absolutely right. Our churches should be the one. Our Black churches are the ones that tell us, they take our money and our tithes and our offerings, but tell us how we can take our money and also do something else.
Exactly. But I thank y'all for doing this, man. It creates a conversation, that we can start having in the Westchester community, and that we can start networking businesses and seeing what services that people are giving, and service is part of faith, right? So we're trying to do all that and staying within our faith, and God will reward us. And one of y'all talked about the Black discount, right? Asking for discount. I told my wife one day, right? Because she'd be hard on some people sometimes, man. And I said, look, we have to. The price is the price. You know why? Because if we're business people, that comes back. That comes back. I'm going to give the person whatever he asks, because I know if I go out there, if someone comes to me, want me to do a job or something, my price is valued also to them, right? So that blessing comes back. And we have to start, and we have to learn that as Black people, especially people that are in business. That blessing comes back. Once you bless a person getting their services, that blessing comes back to you when you are giving your services. That payment of your services is the blessing that comes back. And we have to talk about the godly connection to business, because them people that in Atlanta, they understand that, man. And that was the amazing thing, because my cousin rolled with all them cats down there. And one thing that I was surprised that they're very God-centered, and they understand the cycle of money. When you bless a person, somebody's going to bless you. And that's how the wealth just circles around this whole crew, and they enjoy seeing people making millions. They don't hate, right? They celebrate that, that you make $100,000 a month. They clapping. Negroes up here, you make $100,000 a month, they hating. Oh, they want to borrow money from you. So you don't even want to tell nobody you had $100,000 a month, right? You just keep it to yourself. Right. So we have to just change the culture, man. And I think, I just love what y'all doing, and I thank y'all for doing it, because it's needed. I'm Tuesday, I'm speaking also at the African American Advisory Board about the lack of Black businesses in Westchester County, and how it is. We have to sound the alarm, because, what are we leaving our children? To go work, and soon, can everybody be blessed to get a county job? That's going to dry up. Either it's going to dry up, or they're not even having correction tests. So what's going to happen to that, right? What's going to happen. They ain't going to see, it ain't going to be no Black faces in the academy.
Application only, no tests.
So that's what's going to happen. All the vowels is going to get jobs, right? Because there's nothing stopping them, to say they're going to pick this one and that one now. I already see what's going to happen. And that's going to be a horror show. So we gotta start employing black people. Got to start employing black people.
Right.
I'm sorry. It ain't even man. Y'all might have to y'all might have to call me Charlie Kirk about that, but I don't care. Black people got to employ black people. That's the only way we're gonna kill the black employment in Black America is black people start employing black people. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
So true.
No other community depends upon other communities to hire them.
Right.
Only we depend upon, oh man, this person, well, they won't give me no job, And I think that's a vestige of slavery. It's something that we've carried over, expecting somebody else to create an opportunity for us. I'd rather make $20 on my own than $100 working with somebody who hates my guts, doesn't even want me there.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Remember Trump said black jobs and everybody was like, I ain't got no black job. I ain't got no black job. Next thing you know, they said they cut DEI. They said, well, we ain't got no jobs. I thought y'all ain't have black jobs.
Yeah. We want to.
You understand? If you don't work for a black person, you got a black job.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You have a black job. It's just simple as that. But we gotta change that. And I just hope it ain't too late. Jesus Christ.
It's not.
I'm almost 6 years old. I'm looking at 6 years old. I ain't trying.
It's never too late.
With the younger generation, I'll give them, Damon, I'm we got to start with the younger generation. 19, 17, 18. I got 3 businesses, 4 if you count the law practice. And I got the auto repair shop. I got the 2 restaurants, but I'm closing those down, by the way. But the auto repair shop is, for young people who want to put their hands on something. Mm-hmm. I got a dude down there who just came home 4 months ago, and he's down there working and doing his thing. He's really a mechanic. He learned how to be, a mechanic when he was locked up. The thing is that I noticed when we were down there, it was the older cats who came in with those issues of jealousy, of trying to make the most money, take all the bays, hooping and hollering with other people and stuff like that. And if I'm giving up on anybody, I'm not giving up on them. Let me say that, be clear. I'm deprioritizing saving older people. I'm going to try to look to the next generation. Because, man, I'm not fighting no damn 40-year-old grown person. Try to help them get themselves together. That's between them and God and their wife. These younger people who need an opportunity, who need to be able to make a way, I dig it, So the restaurant, Trump came in and messed up my labor market, all of them. I have people down there working for some great wages and they can eat a meal or 2. I don't know where them folks at now.
They ain't never
come back.
Come back to work, man. And they were documented, but they just started moving out, So, and our folk, none of them want to work at a restaurant. I bought the restaurant because I was like, man, this is great. I got a little bit of money. Let me try to do something. Man, please. Our folk want to make $25 an hour working in a restaurant, acting like it's the last job they're going to have.
Well, I mean, that I don't know. A lot of people talking about, and that's what we got to understand with business too. I hear the politics. And they say, oh, they got to have a living wage, $30 an hour. I'm like, what business? No business paying nobody $30 an hour.
They never run a business. Those folks have never run a business. They never run a lemonade stand.
My wife is struggling paying $15 an hour with her employees in her cupcake shop.
I was trying to pay folks $15 an hour. You can't find people to work for $15 an hour. Mm-hmm. And people say, oh, we can't, we're not working for $15 an hour. I can't live off that. I was telling them, I'm like, you're not supposed to live off of this. It's supposed to be a part-time job. It's supposed to be while you're in college. It's supposed to be while your husband works. It's supposed to be you add something to what he's doing and y'all can do some different things. Man, no, everybody, and I get it because everybody does have this fantasy. How you start is how you're going to finish. And it's not the truth. You start somewhere and you progress through. So I didn't start here, So
yeah. Yeah, and those are conversations, those are business conversations, right? You know, like how do we you sit here, you see these politicians talking about $30 an hour, $40 an hour, right? And you're like, well, how does that work? How does that work in my business? You know, and I guess I'm going to be the only employee. You know,
you will be.
Exactly.
You will be, and then your business will suffer because people will say, "Man, they're slow. They ain't got no good service." You can't scale your business. You can't. None of those people who are proposing those policies have ever run a lemonade stand. They haven't even done anything ever. They've been government workers their entire life and want to talk about policies to set up small businesses. And we'll fight you tooth and nail if you talk about, listen, this is how our business model is set up. This is where we want to take them, and this is how we're going to scale. And we create other jobs by doing this, maybe in management, maybe even going off and franchising where they own a different, a branch of your organization or something like that. But no, they want you to hire somebody and get paid as much as you make.
Yeah. Remember those commercials? Remember those commercials, the little McDonald's commercials, the little black kid, he'd be, well, he's going to McDonald's. The next thing you know, they show him he's a supervisor, right? The next thing
Yes.
he's going to McDonald's. I was like, yo, that's dope, right?
Yes.
He started at the bottom and went to the top. You know,
Man, I started at McDonald's. That was my first job. Was at McDonald's. Actually, my first job was at a fish market. But that's where you start, and you put your money aside, you buy what you want. But man, these younger folks have an expectation that they're going to come out and make $30 an hour, and they can't do anything. So you have to bring them into reality.
Calvin.
Calvin, that was his name.
Yeah, Calvin.
Now they'll make fun of Calvin. Calvin probably owns him a series of McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also, I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
I also want to add that, it's great for our kids to go to college and, get these degrees, but they also need to know how to work with their hands.
That's why I did that. That's exactly right. These degrees are nothing more than a different plantation. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're just a different plantation. And if you're not owning your own firm, you're going to be on somebody's plantation until they decide to run you off. And your plantation might be the county job. It might be, somebody else's large firm or whatever. And you'll be there until they decide that we got to make some cuts. And you still are the last hired, but the first fired. So I'm telling people, my son is in a auto repair course. In my library of stuff that I have here at the house, I have books on HVAC, refrigeration and repair. Obviously the auto mechanics, but the electrical work. These are trades and vocations that we just kind of, we deprioritize them in our community, and they really are something that AI is not going to be able to touch.
No, it's AI free. It's AI free,
man. And really, there's ways that these kids with what will make them work good and be just as good as some of the big firms as this, man. I had a problem with my AC. And I went on ChatGPT and said, print me out a diagnostic flow chart to check this. I ran out to my compressor, ran down it, and 45 minutes later, I was blowing cold again. I called one man to do that, to come out here, just give me the just to roll up. It was going to be $150. I told my son, listen, you need to get this HVAC license as quickly as you can. Get yours before I get mine.
Right.
Okay? So there's a lot of opportunity out there. We're not exposed to it until it's too late.
No, well, we don't talk about it. We don't have
yeah.
It used to be in the schools, that was like part of the curriculum. Now they took that out to school.
Took that out, and that was by design. I mean, when I graduated high school, I went and got into I was in high school a printing and graphic arts program that taught me how to print on presses, and that was what I did. All those vocations have been removed from the high school.
Yeah. So
I actually went back and taught printing and graphic arts when I was 26 for a little while. I only lasted 2 years at that, but the reality is all those programs have been removed out, and then they had these places like Lincoln Tech that were high-priced vocational schools that you had to draw debt to get in, and they were giving them those same courses and curriculums were offered in high schools. And so now, people found a way that we could charge people and indebt them when they could be getting this. And so we need to really be looking at talking to our leaders about reinstituting some of those programs, the electrical work, the HVAC, the auto repair in our public high schools.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because everybody's not. I mean, I didn't graduate high school and poof, go to undergraduate and then just become a lawyer. And my journey was long. I graduated high school at 20. So I graduated high school at 20. I showed people during my little talks. I said, "Here's one of my report cards. I missed more school than during my senior year of school. It was incredible that I graduated, but you progress. And so I started off, working vocational jobs, and then when I got in trouble, Damon, was when I went to law school. When I decided I was going to go to law school. It's quite a story, but the reality is that I didn't start here, and we always see people with these finished products and don't really understand how they got there, what kind of path they chose to get there. But that's something that I'm really serious about, is trying to create organizations that expose our younger people to vocations. My wife and I are going to be starting a nonprofit called Torch, which stands.
Breaking up again, brother.
Okay. Torch, you breaking up? What did you say?
You freezing up again.
He's frozen.
No, he don't know he's frozen. He's just talking right now. He don't know. He'll come back in a minute. He'll come back. Let's see if he come back.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, you froze up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the internet here. Yeah, but Torch is about teaching our children how can you make a living for yourself? How can you get the skill set that you need to provide for yourself? We got to stop teaching. We adopted those mantras, just go to school, go to college so you can come out of college and get a good job. There is no such thing as a good job.
And we missed, what did Torch stand for? He's frozen again.
He's breaking up again.
Oh yeah, he's breaking up again.
Yeah.
Oh well, we about to end anyway. Hey man, you're breaking up again. We gotta go.
What does Torch stand for?
Teach our children how.
Okay.
Yeah. Teach our, and then the OR is just teach our children how.
And just very quickly, I know you said we're ending, but to that end, in terms of those that are going to college, I think the other part of that conversation is, as you just said, you go to school and you get your degrees and your desire is to get that good job. Okay, but maybe, the mindset could be you have these degrees, you're in this profession. What is the next step to help our young people to look at, I can open up my own business with the education that I received. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think that's another avenue that, we can teach. Because I think in the African American community, we look at the fact that, and I'm one of them, our children go on to college. My daughter just graduated from Howard. Now she's at NYU. And, we thank God for that. And we're excited about that. But I think the other piece to that is, you can start your own practice. You can start your own. You got all this education. You did all of this stuff. And there's somebody that you can connect with, in your journey of learning in these higher, institutions, that you're not just working for him, but you open up that practice,
Absolutely.
You open up that school. There's a young lady at my church right now. She is a teacher, but she went on to get her school business school district leadership certification, master's, but she desires to open up her own school.
Absolutely.
And it can happen.
Yes.
In my church alone, I'm sure Charlene, probably yours too, there's so many educators, so that's a little piece I want to throw in there.
No, but you're absolutely right. And see, this is what I didn't understand. I thought, maybe I was mistaken. I thought the mission of the HBCUs when they first opened up was to create people to go out and start businesses because of segregation. Right?
I believe you are correct.
That's what I thought. So what happened? Right? What did integration mess us up that much that we felt that we didn't need to go and continue these institutions?
Right.
You know, that we would just go and, oh man, the white man, you know, we
Get that job.
Exactly. And instead of created, you know, like we have the blueprint, we have Tulsa, we have Black Wall Street, we have the blueprint is there, and they created these communities in worser times.
Right.
Right.
They did it. Right.
Why can't we do it now? That's my point. I'm like, well, why can't we do it now? Because we're generating a lot more money.
Right.
You know, and so why are we not doing it now? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just something that someone felt it wasn't no need to do it. But there is a need. There is a greater need now than ever before.
Yeah.
Because we just can't. It's just I just don't know. You know, and I think that's what we need to talk about instead of other things that has taken up our timelines. You know. You know, and I just got a text from a radio show. Oh, you want to come on and talk about Charlie Kirk? What? Oh no, I want to talk about us getting ourselves together.
That's right.
And so if I could toot our own horn, I just see this Black Summit weekend, you know, growing into something big like that. You know, where we have those conversations, you know, all of this that we're kind of talking about. I think that this is where this can really grow to bring the awareness and, you know, to help those that are already in business, but, you know, capture those young people in the vocation area. You know, Greenburgh Central School District, we still have it, has a WISE program, but they also have where the kids can go to BOCES, you know, and come out of high school with, you know, some certification so they can move into some of those vocational skills. But, you know, we need to not look down on it and let them know that, you know, we need this in our community. We need mechanics, we need plumbers, we need, you know, and then those of you who are going on to higher education, we applaud you too. But when you come out, you know what I'm saying, you know, the education piece of the thought of, I can start my own practice, you know.
Right.
So,
you know, I'm going to say this, and I know we're ending. My son is getting his master's in museum administration, and it was something like just fell out of the sky. Didn't really think. I was like, really, Art? That's not you. But he has met so many Black men in this field that one of them is mentoring him.
Really? Great.
And we are like amazed. And he's working in a gallery doing an internship right now. And I said, whatever you do, go in there, talk to them, you know, become friendly. He's the only Black man in there, bunch of white women, but he's in there. And I said to him, they got me in there working like a slave. I said, no, you're not. You're going to get all the knowledge you need.
Right.
He said, yes, because I'm going to open up my own gallery.
That's right.
Exactly. That's it. That's
There
it.
you go.
And we have to start teaching our children that, you know, to be self-sufficient and have their own businesses, you know. And it ain't easy having your own business, you know, but it's fulfilling. You know, it ain't easy. Trust me. It's not easy at all. I just pray for my wife in that cupcake shop. I just Lord, I pray. She called me, sound so tired. I'd be like, Lord have mercy. God help her. Please help her, man.
Hey, Damon, she got to be there early in the morning, don't she?
She's there all day and she still works. I'm trying to get her to retire. I'm like, you know, time to leave. Time to go on to your next level. God, you did that.
Right.
Now it's time to do that. You know?
Yeah.
You know, I turned 55 on Thursday. I was in Albany on Monday.
Happy birthday.
Right, yes.
I'm talking about when I retired. No, my birthday was in July, but when I turned 55, the age to retire, that was Thursday. Albany, I was signing the paperwork on Monday to leave. Because I was ready, you know, for God to put me in my next chapter of my life. That was it. I did that. Right? I accomplished that. I'm out.
Right.
God bless.
I ain't even tell the job. I came with the paperwork here. I'm leaving in 2 weeks. You ain't telling nobody. I said, look, I'm 2 weeks, I'm done. It is what it is. I already signed the paperwork.
Good.
You know, but that's what we have to do, you know, because and we could talk all day. Yes. Right. You know, we could talk all day and but that's things we got to tell people, you know, they just have to find their purpose, you know, and everybody has a book in them. Right. That's one of the that's one of the easiest residual income thing that you could do. And now with AI, Jesus Christ, you can write a book in a day.
Look.
In a day.
I work at the hospital, and our doctors don't even write their reports anymore. They go on ChatGPT and write up their reports.
Exactly. My last 2 years at work, I wrote 4 books.
Wow.
I'm telling you now, I used to bring the laptop to work, sit back in the locker room on the midnight shift, stand back laughing. Typing away, just typing away. Here's the number to call. There's the extension to call me. I'm back there writing it because I'm out. I'm out of here. You know, but I mean that's what we get, you know, it is what it is. But we just gotta teach people, you know, that there's more than the 9 to 5. Right. And that, you know, there's something out here for everybody to do. And this whole social media thing, everything is wide open. Right. It's messing up the industry. It's messing up the record industry. It's messing up everything. It just AI and everything. You can make $2-3 grand a month easy. And if you work harder, you can make more than that. You know, you just got to want to do it. You know, and there's businesses you could just. It's so much. It's just so much now. We just have to take advantage of it as Black people.
Yes.
You know. We got to
still can.
Exactly, right. And get ahead of it and make some money, you know. And then the tax write-offs when you got your own business. Everybody mad at Trump. Man, let me tell you something. I ain't mad at that tax bill. I got a business. You got a business? What? You gonna get? I told my wife. I said you gonna get all that money back from that company. Thank you, Donald Trump. I wasn't mad. Everybody's like, oh my God. I'm like, listen, you own a business. That tax bill is for producers, not consumers.
Wow, that's it.
You could even now, the way they got it, musicians can deduct their equipment, deduct all that, what they call influencers. All this stuff here, mic and mixer and all this stuff. Tax deductible. You could get it all back. You better learn that tax code and get a business and get some money back. You know, and then we teach people how to get real estate. When they get real estate, get into stocks.
That's right.
Then buy some politicians. As we get some money, we're gonna buy. We're gonna buy them. That's the pyramid, right? Start your business. Real estate, right? Investing, buy your politicians, right? Buy your politicians. Then control your community. But we don't do it.
We got to keep the politicians. We got to keep the politicians moving. I don't want to buy them. I just want to keep them moving.
No, man, we got to buy them. We got to own them. We got to own them so they work for us.
Yeah,
they work for us.
Somebody else come along with some more money, then they'll buy them.
Huh?
That's somebody else come along with some more money, then they'll buy them.
That's the game. But if we were on the level where we supposed to be, if we had Black Wall Streets all throughout the United States, we buy all them politicians. AIPAC won't have a chance against Black folks. We'll just buy them up and reparations get passed and get some more money to Black folks.
Well, one thing we failed to say exactly when our summit weekend is. I know you put the flyer up for us, CK.
Yeah, please. Please say it. Let me put it up. You could talk. No, can you?
You had put it up, but for anyone who is going to listen later, it's going to be Friday, September the 26th, and Saturday the 27th. At the Baymont in Elmsford. That's 540 Sawmill River Road, Elmsford. And Friday night it's going to start. It's an after work mixer from 5 to 9, and Saturday is from what's up?
11
Doors open at 11. Doors open at 11. And the seminars are going to go through to 6 o'clock. And then we're going to have a fashion show. We're going to break it down with something fun. We're going to have a fashion show at the end. So
all right.
And support, because as Amy said, this is going to go far beyond what we're doing now. This is the opening door for us to educate and continue with as much knowledge as we can to give to the people. And we just have to really, really connect with each other, more so now than ever.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to thank y'all ladies for coming on, y'all sisters, and thank you for the work that you're doing in this conference. Is needed. Brother John, thank you again for coming on. Big shout out to my partner AJ Woodson, who's still in Atlanta. He's about to travel across seas and do his tour, JVC Force. Big shout out to him. And I think it's Netherlands, or I don't know, wherever he's going. I don't think there's a lot of black folks out there. But enjoy your trip, my brother. Enjoy your trip. Be safe. And once again, I want to thank everybody for checking out blackwestchester.com. And we have on tomorrow is the Black Economy at 6 p.m. Wednesday is Wellness Wednesdays. Thursday is Motivational Thursdays, and Friday is the Friday Morning Cheat Code. Tomorrow we're talking about the difference between LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps.
All right.
Wednesday we are talking about mental health, because this is September is suicide, I think, Suicide Awareness Month. So we're going to talk about mental health. And Thursday is the blind leading the blind. We all fall in the ditch. So that's going to be a very interesting one. And then I'm not sure what we're talking about on Friday Morning Cheat Code. And also people can go to SoundCloud. You can go to SoundCloud. Every morning is the morning cheat code, 5 minutes of inspiration. Right on SoundCloud, Damon K. Jones. You check it out every morning. Every morning is a new track up. And you could check that out. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for coming on, and we will see. We will see everybody. We see y'all at the conference, and I'll see everybody on tomorrow.
Thanks for having me, Damon.
And we just want to thank you, Damien, for having us on. We really
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for coming. This is what it's all about, right? This is what it's all about. This is what we created Black Westchester for. To allow people to tell their stories and is a tool of networking, right? So thank y'all. Everybody have a blacktastic night. Oh, look at that guy. Look at that guy. What's up there, dude? What's happening, man? See y'all later.
Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today. or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, be Blacktastic, Black America, rep the movement. Get your official Black Westchester merch today. Hoodies, tees, and more at blackwestchestermerch.shop. Wear your voice, make a statement. Damon K. Jones exposes the lies and challenges the gatekeepers in Black politics in his powerful book, Emotional Politics and Logical Failure. Black America needs fewer emotions and more outcomes. Our communities deserve better. On sale now, get the book or audiobook on Amazon, From the Streets of Westchester to the Heart of Hip Hop. Discover AJ Woodson's powerful collection. Black Westchester, the origin story. We got our own thing. Hip hop from the 9, 1, 4, and Black Westchester celebrate Black women of Westchester. Available now at blackwestchester.com and on Amazon.
This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the Black point of view.